So, could you tell us a little bit about your professional background and your current role?
Yes, so my background has been probably between 6 and 7 years working in transmission system operator companies. So I've previously worked for the TSO in Ireland, so AirGrid. I would have worked there on an internship, then subsequently joined them on a graduate program, and more recently, then I have actually I'm working as a power system consultant to other TSOs in Europe and around the world as well.
And so, why did you choose to do this master's program?
Um, I guess there's a couple of reasons. My, let's say, educational background had been in energy systems engineering, so it really kind of was focused across a broad area of, let's say, mechanical, electrical, and maybe a little bit of civil engineering skills when I would have come through my bachelor's degree. But subsequently, I joined, as I mentioned, AirGrid, so the TSO in Ireland, and spent a number of years working there. And I got to the point where I was either going to go down a career path which was probably going to be um, not as technical as I would have liked, or I needed to go back and actually learn, go find a university which had like specific modules and specific training towards the key, I guess, key areas of power system analysis and kind of power system, other aspects of power systems that are important to TSOs as well. And really, for me, that's what had me looking first for a master's program. And then having spoke to a number of people in my company who had previously done or previously completed this distant learning program, I got some really good feedback, and other people whom I knew from other countries in the UK as well. That I received quite a lot of feedback that this was this was a really kind of well established and well recommended course. And then I looked up once I looked up the kind of the curriculum. You could see like everything was very tailored to actual specific elements. It was like asset management, power system economics and operations, dynamics, power quality. There was all specific courses with specific objectives that I felt I wanted to be kind of working on at a future point in my career as well. So really kind of that's what drew me to it. Yeah.
And so, what were some of the advantages with studying online?
I really enjoyed the online studying element to it, and I know other different people have kind of different approaches to this. It had been a number of years since I had, let's say, been, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years, or maybe just over 4 years since I finished my bachelor's degree, and then came back in to kind of start the online element to this. Um, what I found really helpful was James Brooks had provided some material on actually like training yourself to learn as efficiently as possible. I spent a lot of time working on that material in the first like week or 2 weeks of actually starting up the course, and it really helped me put myself in a position of firstly like training yourself how to learn, stop, form links when you're kind of digesting material, but also how to do that when you're working online as well, and how to work across multiple different sources. So having that material and then going through the process of doing the online learning, and that really for me, I suppose, having that material that James provided and then the asynchronous element to the online study was really useful for me, because I was able to find time around my schedule, or if it was a Saturday and Sunday, or if I needed to move it to Monday and Tuesday or whatever it was, your schedule is within your control. And granted, you're maybe not sitting in front kind of meeting your lecturers or meeting your teachers, but they're very available. Most of the tutors and most of the lecturers are very responsive on email. So if you send them an email, they'll spend time to give you a detailed answer. But you have to go through the process of giving them a detailed question as well. So you really have to kind of I trained yourself to kind of really think through what you want to get from someone as well, because if you show you've thought through what you're asking them, they'll provide you the same response. So okay, granted, they're not sitting in front of you for a 2 hour or 3 hour tutor session, but that time is then allocated to them responding to you, so for me that really helps in terms of I can go through my own process where I find the gap in my understanding. I spend time writing that out and explaining it clearly, and then I provide that information to the tutors, who can then kind of go, okay, here's where you're missing, or this is what helps to actually kind of develop a better understanding of a certain topic. Yeah, I honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was brilliant to kind of and it was around COVID, so this all happened during COVID as well. So I was able to really kind of work it around how it needed to suit me. Yeah.
And what were some of the most interesting elements of the program?
Um, To be honest, the dissertation was the most interesting, and my understanding from speaking to James and Mike, most people feed that back as the most interesting part. Like the modules, I found really interesting. Like you obviously have to go through the modules to get to a position to actually do a valuable dissertation, and in the end, um, I enjoyed most of the modules. I was familiar with the areas they were based, the domains that they were kind of applied to. So for those, there was just some aspects of something that I had never really worked on for 4 or 5 years, and I was able to go, oh, actually, this is why you do this, and this is why, for example, asset management. I hadn't really worked in that area in the past, but to be able to learn more about it, actually, the processes and steps and analysis that's used as part of those strategies was really interesting for me. But to be honest, the dissertation was definitely the best part. You spent the bones of 6 months, because I actually ended up doing that quite intensely over the course of 6 months, 6 or 9 months, and I just learned a lot about new software, a new area that was unfamiliar to me, and something that I was interested in, and I would like to carry forward for the future. So I was able to spend a lot of time from a technical perspective, but also from a very professional, doing a professional review and professional and academic literature reviews and going through that process, because there's techniques and strategies how you do that effectively, and I hadn't really developed them for myself in the past. Whereas now I look at, okay, if I want to review a certain topic and develop an understanding using academic kind of papers, I have a process now which I can do that for the future. Because I really hadn't done that before. Yeah.
So have you been able to apply what you've learned on this program to your job?
Yes, yeah. I've recently moved roles. I've moved countries and moved roles. To be honest, in my previous role in Ireland, I had been beginning to apply some of the what I was learning through the course modules. But even since the role I've moved into now it's probably a little bit more technical, and on a day-to-day basis, like I'm working a lot on kind of system operations and future system operations, which is material which I've directly picked up from my studies. I've been able to actually directly apply to kind of be it from a contextual perspective, but also developing an understanding for kind of pathways forward for kind of different projects in what I'm doing now as well. So it has been, I don't know what I've even been able to get the role I'm working in now had I not come through the master's program. Yeah.
How is your dissertation relevant to industry trends?
So my dissertation project was effectively, it was done basically, it was EMT analysis of a single stage battery, battery project, which was looking at how that battery might respond to certain grid conditions and provide services or provide a response which supports the requirement of the network. And for me, and even I know this even before having done the dissertation, that is a very kind of pertinent area of analysis, because there's currently a trend, from an economic perspective. Batteries are becoming more feasible, and you've seen a big trend across the world of more battery technologies coming online. So there are more needs to do analysis which looks at the different responses of those batteries and how you integrate them into I guess how you integrate them into kind of power systems around the world. And for me, to be able to do that from a technical perspective and demonstrate the skills which show, okay, I can model how this battery responds to certain types of faults on the network, and be able to kind of demonstrate, yeah, I can model it and show that it's meeting the response that it should meet. For me, that is a very pertinent skill set to carry into the work I'm doing now, because a lot of there's a trend in system operations to start looking at EMT analysis, which is driven by the high amount of renewables that are coming onto power systems, and I've just found it as very useful to kind of bring forward.
How has this program been able to help you progress your career?
To be honest, I had started one of my drivers for looking to kind of sign up for this program was I wanted to move into more kind of more technical work for the next number of years, next 5 years of my career, and I think as from the modules I've done and the learning I've taken from this master's program, be it from the modules, but also from the dissertation, I've moved into more technical. I've subsequently moved roles from the organization which I started to where I'm working now, and I don't think I would have been able to do that without having kind of gone through the process of kind of 20 hours a week in each of those modules, kind of across those different aspects of kind of power system analysis and kind of power, I suppose, domains of power systems. I don't think I would be able to do what I'm doing now, or having got the role that I'm working now, not having done the done the course at University of Manchester. And I'm very appreciative of that, and also the people who've kind of teachers and tutors who support me along that journey, because it's I would have said this to James as well, James Brooks. It's like it was a huge help for me to kind of bring me forward in terms of where I wanted to go with my career, because if I hadn't have done it, I probably would have ended up down a different career path, which would have been fine, a little bit maybe non-technical, but I find technical work motivates me and kind of gets me up in the morning a little bit, like, so it has really helped me shape myself and kind of direct myself down a path that I felt is where I kind of can add most value, but also I'm most happy working as well. Yeah.
What is next in your career path?
So for me, it's kind of continuing as I am at the moment. I guess I've as a consequence of doing this this course, I've only very recently moved roles, and that shift has come as directly subsequently from having complete the master's degree. Like, so for me, it's just kind of continue applying the skills that I've initially developed from the University of Manchester, and then applying them in industry, and then kind of continuing that learning process and refining and increasing kind of my knowledge and experience and kind of across those different areas of specifically in like power system analysis, kind of focusing on, let's say, power system planning, but also power system operations as well. And I'm just really looking forward to kind of just continuing that journey a little bit further. Yeah.
Would you recommend this course to other students?
Yeah, simple answer. I definitely would. I think if people come and ask me, I would. I think it's clear from some of my answers to the previous questions. I've got quite a lot from doing this course, and I would recommend the same to anyone else. The only thing I would say to them is, it is quite a bit of work. So I think, and it does take a bit of time. It's not a course you can skip in and out of a little bit, like, as in I'd absolutely recommend someone to do it, but also do it making sure you have the time to actually commit to doing it properly. And then once you can invest what you need to invest and what's recommended to invest, you will get loads out of it, I think. Yeah.